Hello everybody, ActusXD. If you're a new viewer, then welcome. If you're returning, then welcome back. Today's video is going to be sort of a more rapid fire, some of my best farming routes to get mostly cooking resources, which either are going to sell for a lot or they're valuable to create more profitable food. As always, the usual caveat applies to this video in that every server is different, so whatever is going to be a great bargain for me might be really expensive on your server and vice versa. All I can do is tell you that these are good places to get these resources, and you'll have to figure out if it's worthwhile going to get them yourself. Let's get stuck into the first one. Our first farm, I'm not even going to bother showing you game footage of. We're just going to do my usual MS Paint job. This one is a cover all. Whatever your server economy is like, you should be able to find something of value here. I'm desperately trying to please everyone, so please don't let me down. This is a good cooking resources, stuff from crates, moats. You can just pick everything up and hopefully either you're going to find it useful in your farming or you're going to be able to sell it on your server. It's not going to be the greatest gold per hour. It's consistent. Even if other people are farming the route, one of these days I'll choose a way to pronounce that. You will find that they'll be doing something specific, like they'll only be getting the food so you can get the moats or something like that. If you're running the whole lot, you'll be able to go out and fill your bags quickly with plentiful bounty. Yes, we're from the 1800s now. Unfortunately for me, this route starts back at the Arcanar Gate in Monarch's Bluff. Teleport there and then run south, and we're going to do the loop that I'm showing you on paint now. You'll notice that I've swapped from our trusty paintbrush to a larger paintbrush. What I'm trying to indicate here is that you want to go outside the lines a little bit and get the resource-rich areas in that general zone. As I say, if you want to focus on cooking ingredients, then you can prioritize that there. If you want to go more for moats, then adjust as is reasonable, but there is enough of those as well as chests that you can just run in a loop and grab all that stuff. Most of it will be back by the time you get around in your loop, and something has to be of value on your server. Let's get on to some more lucrative gold farms. The next one is something that is lucrative on my server. I know historically I've talked about things that are going to be more lucrative on the lower population servers, and people are always like, well, I want stuff that's going to be lucrative on my server. Tarragon for us hovers between between 30 gold and 40. It's an expensive spice, herb, whatever the hell tarragon is. I don't know. I only pick it here. I don't eat it. This is the best place in the game to farm it. There's nothing particularly special about this farm. It's not unknown. However, it's not really done in my experience. It's so easy to get tarragon. I was there for about 45 minutes and I got 40 tarragon. I've got decent harvesting luck thanks to Amazon giving me a bucket full of it. But I've got nothing incredible and I don't have double yield, so there's nothing spectacular about what you need to do to get the gold from this tarragon or to be able to use it in your own cooking. But I can really recommend this location. One thing that you will note is that there's not that many spawns. One thing to consider about that is that it's not like other Hyssop spawns in the map. Hyssop. I've decided how to pronounce that apparently, unlike route. Right. It's not one plant popping up out of the ground. When you arrive, there's going to be a whole flock of herbs for you to just decimate with your sickle, which is excellent. And I will just take a moment to point out, this is only using Map Genie with tarragon on. If we take a second, that was taking a second to say the word second, to show some others, we can make this farm a little more lucrative as these aren't going to have respawned by the time we've cleared them all. If we turn on our moats, wire fiber, and a couple of ores, we can see all of a sudden that the map's populated a little more. And so what I like to do is run the tarragon route down here, come up and try and grab either the moats or the orichalcum ore. If you're going to run two sets, then I'd make a decision so that you're not having to swap between your mining and your harvesting set. And come up and grab wire fiber, back around getting some of these earth shell turtles, and then back down, and by the time you're around and through that loop, your tarragon will have respawned. The problem with doing this is that it'll have been respawned for a little while, so whether you cut yourself short to make sure you get back there in time and some other bastard hasn't come along and nicked the tarragon out from right under your feet, or you just run the risk. Like I always say, I play on a massively populated server. I did the farm that you're seeing on the screen now at about 3:30 p.m. on a whatever today is, Monday afternoon. Not one other person around the entire time I was doing it. The only thing I would say is that because I was running my harvesting luck gear, pulling the earth shell turtles, I seem to be getting a lot of turtles rather than the moats, which was annoying, but I don't know if my harvesting luck even affects that, if I'm being honest. But I got heaps of turtles and no mercs, which is frustrating. Anyway, this is extremely lucrative, this farm, and even if you're not going to sell, you can just use the tarragon yourself for your fancy cooking recipes, but I highly recommend it. I wanted to take a moment. I know I usually do a more funny, like, hey, subscribe to the channel kind of thing, but I wanted to take a second to sort of do maybe a more heartfelt one. I don't know. Over the last 28 days, the channel's basically started and exploded from nothing. So for all of you who have been watching the videos throughout that time, then really I can't thank you enough. It's exceeded my greatest expectations. Of the many of you that watch the videos, over 8,000 of you are returning viewers, which means that you've watched more than one viewer. If you are one of those people and you enjoy what you've seen from my 2 or more videos, then I would really ask that you would consider hitting that subscribe button. It does wonders to really help me, not only with the YouTube algorithm, but it just means a huge amount. So if it's my content's something that has been interesting or entertaining to you, then I would really ask that you hit the subscribe button. If this is the first time that you're watching and you are liking the presentation so far, then hit the button as well. Our next one is very quick, and it's not going to work for everyone depending on the price of bulrush on your server, but there is a bugged bulrush spawn in Weaver's Fen on the map where I am showing you now. There's like 10, 15 bulrush spawn locations, and by the time you've finished picking like 5 or 6, they've started popping up again, so you can literally just constantly pick bulrush forever. Otherwise, what you might want to do is pick the whole lot, grab like 1 or 2 pails of fresh water, and then pick the whole lot up again. You really only have to take like 1 or 2 steps between. You get like an insane amount of bulrush cob and firefly bait and firefly bait, as well as obvious reeds. Now, for some servers, bulrush is going for like 1 gold. You're going to make an absolute killing. For others, going for like 0.4, 0.3. You know, if it's going to be worthwhile, what you can do is level up some of your Arcana or Grand Territory standing with the bulrush cob. If you just want to pick it up and use it yourself, it's very useful. Just a short little one there, nothing spectacular, but it's bugged and it just respawns instantly. Hooray! The last and one of the most lucrative farms I wanted to take a look at in this series is salt. Now, one of the things to note about salt is that there's not some infinite loop you can continue to do all the time to just generate a huge amount of salt. That's why it's worth quite a bit of gold on the trading. The only way you're going to get it is from chests, and it only drops from certain chests in certain regions. So you need to know exactly in which regions to look and in which chests in those regions to look, and that's why it's worth quite a bit of gold. So let's take a closer look at what chests drop it in what regions, and what's the most effective way to do it. Now, something that you need to know about the way you're going to farm salt is that you're not competing with other people in the same way that you are for other resources, because it comes out of chests. So you're going to be able to get the salt yourself whenever you want it, when the chests have respawned, which is about every 30 minutes. The most effective route is the one that's on the screen now, and it's not, you know, you're not going to generate a huge amount because it's limited by how frequently you can loot the chests, like I've said. So what you want to be thinking about doing is, well, I want to do this after my 30-ish minutes have elapsed, and then looking at other times where, you know, maybe going to do another farm isn't the most effective thing you can do because it's peak hour in your server, and so you can go do salt where it doesn't matter if it's contested or not. Or if you're looking at logging off for the night, then maybe you just go and run and do this salt run because you know that you're just going to be able to knock it out in 10, 15 minutes and hopefully wind up with a fair bit. It's a bit dependent on your luck, and I'm relatively sure, although I stand to be corrected. If you think that I'm wrong, then leave a comment down below in the comment. I think your chance of getting salt is affected by your loot luck, not your harvesting or any other kind of luck. And it comes out of chests, and they are the chests in this region. So let's take a closer look. There's a lot of running to be done here, and unless you're level 60, it's going to be quite painful because you're going to be running through like a level 38 elite area with huge mob death. So you probably want to be looking at being level 60 to just run in and grab it. When we look at the map that I've had on the screen just earlier, the chests that pop up with the teardrop icon are the most important ones to hit, as they're the elite or the supply stockpiles rather than just the crates. So for instance, I think in this one run, I wound up with about 40, maybe 25 to 30 salt, and that was because one of the stockpiles that I hit gave me 9 salt. It sells on my server for like between 10 and 20 gold, so in that one, I could have hit up to a maximum of about 180 gold just from that one supply stockpile. So This is the kind of thing that you want to be doing when the respawn's up, and that you can work it into another farm or some other reason. If you say, for instance, if you're coming to Everfall to jump into a shed, or for cheaper crafting or something, you just work in a quick salt run so that you can grab it and then get back to town and do something else that you're doing. Work it into your gameplay otherwise, and this is the most effective gold per hour way of doing it. It's not like our other farms where we can just go out and focus on getting a heap of that resource to list on the auction house for crap loads of gold. This one needs to be well, I need to think about how I'm going to work it in every 30-ish minutes to really benefit. Just while we're on the topic of cooking ingredients, and I'm doing basically a whole video on this and bulrush cob for some unknown reason, one thing I wanted to quickly discuss is most people seem to not really pay much attention to stat food or think that it's a great gold earner. Doesn't seem like it's being taken that advantage of. In my experience, a lot of the 30 stat primary foods, like your 30 stat con, 30 stat focus kind of foods, are relatively cheap to make, even if you're just buying the ingredients off the trading post and then shoving them in the oven yourself. You're still going to turn a handy profit. And for a lot of them, the recipes go for under 1,000 gold, so you don't need to sell a whole lot to recoup your cost. So one thing I would be keeping an eye out is looking for those foods that people are going to want a lot of, the 30 stat foods, because they don't require legendary materials. Just buy, if you can get your hands on the recipe, for as cheap as you possibly can. And then you can, in a lot of cases, you can just buy the mats off the trading post and punch the food straight back up there for pure profit. You're not really losing anything. If you want to go out and farm it yourself, that's obviously going to be even more profitable. Certain ones are very easy to take advantage of. On some servers, especially the lower pop servers, I think you'll find the 2000 luck gear. The 2000 luck food is particularly profitable. I think a lot of the recipes are more expensive in those instances, but if you have them or you can get your hands on them for cheap, then I would really recommend it, because if you can punch out some of those, some of that food that's getting eaten up by people that can't be bothered making their own, you're going to be able to turn a handy profit. And so now that we've got a decent salt farm, a decent general farm, and a decent tarragon farm, you're going to be able to turn out a lot of that stuff, and rather than just picking up tarragon and selling it for the profit on straight up in it, you can turn it into some more useful food and increase your gold per hour even more. One thing I forgot to mention about the Tarragon farm, even though I bang on about it all the time, is that we love Hyssop, and we love Hyssop because of the video that is linked in the description below or on the card at the end of this video. But Tarragon is going to give you Hyssop as well, and it is excellent for boosting your standing to get to the 100% yield breakpoint, so you can double your stats. Sorry, double what you're picking up. They're the ones I have for you at the moment. I hope to have another video out in the next few days with a few more of the cooking ingredients that we all want to get our hands on frequently. In the meantime, the link to the Discord is down below. We have more and more friends joining. It's a more fun place to be, and often there is discussion around the farms that are going to be putting the videos that is happening there before the videos are made or released. So if you want the head start on the goss, on the good word, then jump in Discord. I live stream on YouTube, like I said, so hit the bell and I'll see you there. Until then, I love you, and remember,